What if that inner voice you once dismissed as mere imagination was actually a cosmic force trying to speak with you? What if the coincidences you overlooked were encrypted messages, whispers from an invisible intelligence that knows every curve of your path? What if nothing you've lived through has ever been random? There is a force. It has no form, yet it has presence. No face, yet it knows yours intimately. It's been with you through your loneliest nights. It's protected you from dangers you never even saw. It's led you down paths you thought you chose on your own. Some call it destiny. Others call it spirit, Akasha, quantum consciousness, or simply the field. But names don't really matter. What matters is that now you're about to remember. Because this force, the same one that's always guided you, now wants to be seen. There is a kind of language that isn't written in letters and isn't spoken with the mouth. It is the language of silence. The wind that shifts direction without warning. The glance that pierces through you without saying a word. The sudden chill. The feeling that something is about to unfold. This is how the universe speaks, but only to those who've learned to listen with the soul. From the moment you were born, this invisible force began writing your path in codes of energy. No manuals, no signposts, only signals, tiny ones. So subtle, they're almost always ignored. Have you ever felt something was right without knowing why? Have you ever chosen a path that made no logical sense, only to realize it was the most aligned of all? That's not random intuition. That's vibrational response. The field, this force that weaves through everything, doesn't speak like a stern teacher. It speaks like a poet. It doesn't command. It suggests. It doesn't demand. It inspires. But to hear this voice, you must quiet all the others, because the truth is, the more noise you create inside, the harder it is to hear what's coming from beyond. And what comes from beyond already knows the map your soul came here to follow. Before anything exists, there is a pattern. Before the flower, there is a code. Before the sound, there is intention. Before the body, there is the field. The world's oldest traditions call this field by many names. In ancient India, they called it Akasha, the primordial ether where everything is recorded. Egyptian mystics knew it as the Book of Life, a sacred web where past, present, and future coexist. Modern spiritual science calls it the morphogenetic field, an energetic library where every possible form already exists. Biologist Rupert Sheldrake proposed the idea of an invisible field that shapes how matter behaves, a collective memory linking all living consciousness. Quantum physicist David Bohm called it the implicate order, a hidden layer of reality that gives rise to everything we see. And to the mystic, this has always been obvious, because while the scientist measures, the sage feels. What you believe to be a spontaneous decision might actually be the memory of something your soul already knew. What you call destiny may simply be the unfolding of a vibrational script written before time itself. You are not a leaf blown aimlessly in the wind. You are a frequency in harmony with the whole. Have you ever felt something strange, as if you were in the right place at the perfect time, like the universe was holding your hand, even if you didn't realize it? Have you thought of someone only for them to call or message you at that very moment? Have you ever had a dream so vivid it felt more real than waking life itself? These aren't accidents. These are messages, the invisible force that guides you. It doesn't shout, it repeats, and the more you ignore it, the more it insists. Synchronicities are the subtlest signs from the field, tiny alignments between your inner world and the outer one. When you overlook them, they become wasted coincidences. But when you understand them, they become revelations. It's the same with that sudden chill that runs down your spine, or that feeling of déjà vu, like you've lived this moment before. That's the echo of the soul whispering you're on the right path, or perhaps the wrong one, but there's still time. Don't ignore the whispers of reality, because life only speaks to those who've learned to listen to the invisible. At some point along the journey, most people forgot. They forgot how to listen to silence, forgot how to trust what can't be touched, forgot how to follow what can't be explained, only felt. Society taught us to seek answers outside, in books, in maps, in other people's voices, but rarely within, rarely in intuition, rarely in the sacred space of stillness. And when this invisible force is ignored, it doesn't vanish. It simply recedes. It waits, like a star behind the clouds, like a compass still pointing north, even if forgotten at the bottom of your pack. But the longer we stay disconnected, the louder the world becomes, and the more confusing the path feels. That's when the crises arrive, the losses that make no sense, the emptiness nothing seems to fill, because the soul begins to ache, a homesickness for something it can't quite name, yet has always known. The good news is, this force never truly left. It's simply waiting for you to remember how to call it back. Reconnecting with this force doesn't require complex rituals. It requires presence. The invisible field responds to vibration, and vibration is shaped by your inner state. When you become still, when you slow down, when you breathe with intention, you begin to tune in. The first practice is simple, yet powerful. Deep listening. 5 minutes of true silence. No expectations, no searching. Just sit and let the invisible speak. The second is intuitive journaling. Write before you think. Let your hand reveal what your mind has yet to understand. The field often expresses itself through sudden inspiration, through words that come from nowhere or everywhere. The third is symbolic contemplation. Watch nature, a bird, a leaf, a shadow dancing across the ground. The field speaks through the details that only stillness allows you to notice. And finally, surrender. Stop forcing the path. Allow life to choose with you. Because sometimes, what didn't happen was the field protecting you. This isn't about learning something new. It's about remembering what your soul has always known. And what it knew is about to be revealed. From the moment you took your first breath, a silent intelligence surrounded you. You didn't arrive here by chance. You were woven into a greater purpose. A rhythm was given to you, a frequency, a destiny. Imagine an invisible web connecting every consciousness. Every thought you have sends a vibration through it. Every choice, every emotion, ripples outward, touching distant destinies. The universe isn't separate from you. You are a singular note in the cosmic symphony of existence. Physics calls this quantum entanglement, particles intertwined, remaining connected even across vast distances. The mystic calls it sacred unity, the spirit, a shared origin. And you, without even knowing, have always been a part of it. When you cried without knowing why, when you felt a presence though no one was there, when you looked up at the sky and sensed that someone or something was listening, that force was there. It has always been there, even when you felt lost, even when no one seemed to understand you, even on the days when loneliness felt like an abyss. You never walked alone. Every breath was witnessed. Every silence was held. Every whispered prayer in the dark was heard. Because you're not disconnected from the whole. You are the whole, expressing itself through a single point of view, yours. And the more you awaken to this truth, the clearer that force begins to respond. In recent days, maybe you've felt it, a tiredness without cause, an inexplicable pull, a deep craving for silence, for distance, for a reunion with something that has no name. This isn't weakness, it's attunement. It's the invisible force rising to the surface of your consciousness. The field that has always guided you is now beginning to reveal itself. But it won't knock like a messenger. It will enter like a soft wind, like a déjà vu, like a sudden urge to change everything. And you'll know, not with your eyes, not with your mind, but with that part of you that is ancient, older than time itself, because the signs have already begun. Coincidences that don't feel like coincidences, voices echoing in your dreams, repeating numbers, people showing up exactly when you need them. Nothing is random now. Everything is aligning. And in the next video, you'll discover how this force is preparing you for something greater, a transition, a shift in direction, a vibrational rewriting. But until then, be still, observe, listen, because the invisible is about to speak with absolute clarity. Maybe you felt like you've been walking alone, that every decision was yours, that every step was just coincidence. But the truth is, you've been guided all along by something greater, older than time, more intimate than your own thoughts. And if you've made it this far, it wasn't by chance. Maybe this force is calling you now. Maybe this video is the sign you were meant to hear. The next step doesn't come from the outside. It begins within. If this message spoke to you, subscribe now, because this journey is only just beginning. Leave a like so this message can reach others who are also seeking. And tell me in the comments, have you ever felt like something invisible was guiding you, even if you couldn't explain it? Let's uncover together what's always been hidden. The truth is already in motion.